Hey everybody, it's Fabled Ways, and I'm gonna get my 5 predictions in before the Fanfest that's going to be happening this weekend. So originally, I was actually going to release this video much sooner, but I'll be entirely honest, I keep flip-flopping between a lot of my predictions. And I've decided that for this one, I'm going to throw out some really random ones, and only one that is going to be... It's going to be slightly more predictable. That it's going to be like the second one. We'll make that the second one. So it's going to be the most obvious one, and then it's just going to be a bunch of like curveballs that people have thrown out before, but those are the ones I'm going with as well. So for number 1, we're going to go with a new melee job, Judge. So yeah, I think that with the Reaper sort of being themed and shown off, like there was a scythe, I get that. But I don't think that scythe is going to be for us. I think that's going to be Xenos' new weapon. He's going to end up being a Reaper of some kind. Like a Grim Reaper, he's going to be the final judge and that kind of stuff. We are actually going to be a judge. I feel like that's going to be the next job. And I really hope that this is true, because I am a massive Final Fantasy XII nut. I am a huge fan of it, so... getting a judge melee job would be fantastic. In fairness, it would feel very close to something akin to Paladin. That's why I think that the judge job is going to be a dual wielding job with one big blade and one smaller blade, like a scimitar and a dagger type of deal. But in any case, that's what I think for a melee job. I know that people have been throwing around the scythe job for like a really long time, and originally I thought it as well, but I've given it more thought, and I think it's more likely that that's going to be the weapon for Xenos. I personally think that Judge is going to be the next melee job. So this is the one that's going to be the most obvious, and we're actually going to get video footage of the new starting area of the expansion and a pretty good look at what the area is going to be. My prediction of what that area is going to be is the Thavnarian area that we saw shown off very early, along with the Beast Tribe that was with it, the Matanya? I believe it was something like that. I think it's going to be that area. I think it's also going to contain a little bit of a look into what the people and the races are going to be in that area of Eorzea, or at least Garlemald in that sense. This one is pretty out there that we're actually going to get a full-on look of the starting area, but the reason I want it is because of the fact that it gets people excited, because all we've really thought about so far is moon, we're going to the moon, we're going to the moon, we're going to the moon, and that we're going to go to Garlemald. And I understand that that's exciting for a lot of people, but I'm also curious what's happening around it. Does that make sense? Like, if that's all we're focusing on, of moon and Garlemald, then what's happening around it? I'm very curious about what's happening aside from the moon, if you get what I mean. So that's what I'm excited for. My prediction number 3, and this one is very far out there. We're going to have a Final Fantasy VII remake or Kingdom Hearts collaboration event. Now, why would I say either of those? Final Fantasy VII remake is going to get a new edition, or a new addition, I should say, to its ongoing trilogy. I would assume it's coming, or it's likely going to be 4 games from what I understand. But I think it's either that or Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts is now coming to PC. And that was also something on PS4, but I think with it coming to PC, there is a fair chance that there could potentially be a Kingdom Hearts collaboration event. Would it make a lot of sense? To be entirely honest, it doesn't make sense. But we said the same thing for the Final Fantasy VII remake, and that worked out just fine. In fact, it got us a really cool mount that we still use to this day. So who knows? That one is a real curveball. The Final Fantasy VII remake is less of a curveball than the Kingdom Hearts one. But you know what? If Kingdom Hearts shows up, I'll eat my shoe or something. You know what I mean? It's that much of a curveball. Number 4. It's coming back. It's coming back. I want it. I need it. And this is my selfish want list. Male Vieira, and to a lesser extent female Hrothgar. I want male Vieira. I really want male Vieira. I've had arguments with people about this. Male Vieira is something that I've been wanting for a long time, because I am specifically a fan of Final Fantasy XII, as I said earlier about the Judge melee job, but I'm also a big fan of the Ivalice universe as a whole. That includes the War of the Lions, Advance 2, Grimoire of the Rift, and the Revenant Wings. Like, and Vagrant Story, like those games are all set in the Ivalice universe, and the one thing we have never seen in that universe is a male Viera. So a male Viera in Final Fantasy XIV would be a godsend, and the fact that there was concept art for this would be an incredible feat. Now, female Hrothgar. I know that there are female Ronso in Final Fantasy X. I've played Final Fantasy X. I know that there's female Ronso. I've looked it up as well. It's female Ronso exist. Male Viera also exists, but they only exist in written content. Female Hrothgar actually are confirmed, or Ronsos, I should say, are confirmed to be a thing. So, if we're going to get male Viera, we're going to get female Hrothgar. I'm putting this on my predictions list again, and people are going to be mad at me. I know, okay? I'll take that wrath head on, but I'm going to get my Bunny Boy race. I am, and I'll be playing that race for till the end of time. I don't care how many hats we have to sacrifice. And number 5, the one that's going to irk people the most. Look. I know, yeah, that the moment you saw this one, or you just saw the title card for it, you're sighing, you're groaning, and you're not enjoying it, okay? I know. Limited jobs. Woohoo, we're getting another limited job. That's what your prediction is? Yeah, it is my prediction, because you know what? I enjoy Blue Mage a little bit. Not a lot, okay? I'll give it that. Not a lot. Blue Mage is a fun little bit of side content that you can do for some cheap rewards, some cheap and easy rewards, just for glamours and a little bit of extra, like, fluff. I get that. However, I think that they're going to try to somehow implement Blue Mage to be more of a old farming content sort of job. Like, imagine that in the next expansion, we're going to get a level 80 Blue Mage, and that the overall actions that we're going to get are more oriented towards farming old content, like for mounts, for cards, for minions, for glamours, you know what I mean? Like, it's all going to be directed at specifically that. Whereas I think that the new one is going to be something much more geared to a single player experience, which I've had people come at me before for saying that I think that there could be some more limited jobs and more single player type of stuff in Final Fantasy. I understand it's an MMO, but I've always said that I think that when it comes to the trust system, for example, that one needs something new, because the moment you complete the entire story and you're level 80, you need to re-level everything, and there's no real reward for that aside from a title. I think with a limited job, that's going to be something that they could do with a new one, and specifically maybe like a Beastmaster. I think Beastmaster is the most likely, especially with some of the Bajan content that we specifically had to fight something that is akin to a Beastmaster, although I think it was called a Beast King in there. So I know limited jobs are a very touchy subject, and I know they are very frowned upon, and trust me, no one frowned upon it more than I did. If there's something that I wanted more than a male Viera, then it would be a Blue Mage as an actual job. Trust me. I fully understand the frustration that people had. But I think that a new limited job to play alongside a Blue Mage could be very interesting, and sort of varying up that limited job content side of things is going to be very, very healthy towards the farming scene. Farming the old content scene. So that's what I think those are my predictions. Those are the things that I'm going to be laying down as my predictions for the next FanFest. Let me know what you think below. What are your predictions? Throw some really wild ones out there, because like I said before, these are my wild predictions. These are my wild card predictions, okay? These are definitely the predictions that are least likely to happen, aside from like the Judge Melee job. That could happen. The rest of them, not so much. So throw your oddball, curveball, like sort of like predictions, and please, let's discuss them. I actually want to talk about them. In any case, my name is Fabled Ways, and I thank you for watching.